Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Tesl Room 1. Our examiners for the sessions are Dr. Haja Sakia binti Rahim as the first assessor and Ms. Wankarunisa binti Wan Ibrahim as the second assessor. Our first presenter is Ahmad Amirul Hasib bin Ahmad Kuzi, who will share his research on training teachers' perception on the speaking skills approaches in the drama subject TSLB 3233 for improving speaking skills. Please join me in welcoming Ahmad Amirul.
Speaking skill is the most important skills for teachers as they will use it in their daily life as a teacher. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and very good evening. I will to panel 1, Dr. Haja Sakia binti Rahim, and panel 2, Ms. Wan Khairunisa binti Wan Ibrahim, and also all the audience in this room. My name is Ahmad Amirul Hazid bin Ahmad Kuzi, and my supervisor is Madam Nurliza binti Abdul Razak. So today, I'm going to present about my study, which is training teachers' perception on the speaking skill approaches in the drama subject TSLB 3233 for improving speaking skills. So now let's take a look at the background of the study. So basically, there are 3 items in this section. The first one is speaking skill approaches in the drama subject. Drama integrates creative methodologies to engage students actively in language exercises, enhancing both comprehension and expression in English. And this statement is obtained from Dr. N. Kaliskan from 2020. And the second item here is the subject TSLB 3233, Drama in English. So this subject is experienced by all of my batchmates of PISMP Tesl June 2021 and 2025 in the previous semester. And it is purpose to develop essential English language skills through drama activities. And then for the third item here is speaking skills among the trainee teachers. The study aims to indicate speaking skill approaches in the drama subject TSLB 3233 for improving speaking proficiency among the trainee teachers of Tesl June 2021 and 2025. So based on the 3 items here, it is relatable, which is the speaking skill approaches in the drama subject to enhance speaking skills among the trainee teachers. So in the study, if there is no problem, then it will be nothing. So I have 2 problem statements here. The first one is all about limitation. So limitation of traditional language teaching for speaking skill development. Traditional methods such as memorization and lecture-based instruction often fail to improve speaking skills of the students. And for the second problem statement here is about engagement. Insufficient engagement in traditional language learning approaches, traditional language teaching methods often lack the interactive elements needed to keep trainee teachers fully engaged, especially in developing speaking skills. So based on the 2 problem statements here, I would say that the first problem is all about the limitation of the opportunity to active speaking practice, and the second problem focusing on the insufficient engagement. And for the first problem statement obtained from Rotini G and Akhil Radevo from 2022, and for the second problem statement obtained from Vaishnavi S and Ajit from 2023. Next slide. And then here is my research objective and also research question. For RO number 1, to find out the contribution of speaking skills approaches in the drama subject that can improve speaking skills among trainee teachers. And for the second RO, to identify the trainee teachers' attitude toward the use of speaking skill approaches in the drama subject. And for my research question number 1, what are the contributions of speaking skill approaches in the drama subject that can enhance speaking skills among the trainee teachers? And for the research question number 2, what are trainee teachers' teacher's attitude towards the use of speaking skills approaches in the drama subject. So there are two research theory and model that have been used in my study. The first one is about Vygotsky, social cultural theory, and the key ideas that I get from this theory is learning through social interaction and cultural tools. Because in the drama activities or drama subjects, there will be a lot of interaction among the trained teachers or students. And then zone of proximal development, ZPD. And these are collected from Shabani K from 2010. And from the second theory is communicative language teaching, CLT. And the key ideas is communicative competence through interaction from Mustafa SM 2013. Because in the drama subject, there will be a lot of communications in order for them to perform dramatization. So this is my research purpose, or it can illustrate my conceptual framework. So we can see the purple box here represent the IB, which is speaking skill approaches in the drama subject, TSLB 3233, and the second one is training teachers' attitude towards the speaking skill approaches. And for the green box is the GB, improve speaking skills. So as we can see here, these two items is relatable in order to improve the speaking skills. And that is how my conceptual framework works. Next slide. And then for my research significance, and the focus is for teacher. So my research can act as supporting resources for the teachers to widely use drama activities as speaking skill approaches to enhance speaking skills among the students. So the keywords here is to widely use. It means that my research can promote the use of speaking skill approaches in the drama subject to enhance speaking skills among the students. And the second is can assist teachers to select appropriate teaching strategy to enhance speaking skills among the students. So use the speaking skill approaches in the drama subject. It is one of the best strategy to enhance speaking skills among the students. Next slide. And then these are the related past research. So I have 4 past research here. The first one is from Zinet.m 2021. It focused on the drama-based activities like role play and improvisation to improve speaking skills among the EFL learners, and also building confidence and enhancing fluency. And the second past research is from Mustafa 2020, which is creative drama activities enhance 7th grade students' English speaking skills and attitudes. And the third past research is Rotimi J and Akin Radio from 2022, which describes significantly improved student speaking confidence and fluency. And the last past research here is from Vaishnavi S and Ajay from 2023. Is that significantly enhance speaking fluency and confidence by fostering engagement. So based on all the past studies here, we can see that drama activities or speaking skill approaches in drama subject can enhance students' speaking skills and also building confidence, make them more confident when speaking in English. And the research gap between this and my study is most of the studies here are from experimental and qualitative, but my study is from quantitative design. Next slide. And then the research design for my study. The first one is I use quantitative design, and for analyzing all the data, I only use descriptive by using software Jamovi. And then for the online survey, I use Google Form as the platform to spread my questionnaire to all the respondents. And then for the research respondent, I use purposive sampling by Etikan et al. 2016. And the number of population is 57, excluding me. PISMP is June 2021 and 2025 intake. And for my pilot study, I take 15 pilot study. So the balance here is 42 respondents. This is from Memon et al. 2020 and also from Bryman from 2012. Okay, so this is my research procedure. The first one, and this is the most important thing, is creating questionnaire. So a set of questionnaire was created, consists of 3 sections or 3 parts, which is the first one is about demographic questions that consists of 3 questions. And the second part is RO1 questions that consists of 10 questions, and the last part is RO2 questions, also consists of 10 questions. And then for the questionnaire was adapted from ZNet M 2021 and also Vaishnavi and Ajit from 2023. And after doing all these things, I go for pilot study for 15 students. The pilot study was conducted for 15 students and received the value of reliability of 0.920, which is considered as relevant from 1 broad 2014, which describes that the value of reliability between 0.9 to 1 is the best. And then this is the data analysis procedure. The first one is I collect the data and then put all the data into the JMOV for the interpretation and analyzation and do descriptive analysis. And the last one, I do interpretation and discussion of the findings. Okay, so here is my findings and discussions. For RQ number 1, what is the contribution of speaking skill approaches in the drama subject that can enhance speaking skills among the trainee teachers? So as we can see in the picture here, the highest score is for the item number 1 and item number 2, which is drama activities improve my speaking skills, and role playing in drama activities improve my speaking skills. And it shares the same number of mean, which is 4.6. And the third highest value is from item number 3. Role play helps me to express myself more confidently in English when speaking. So each item here, we can see that the range of the mean value is between 4.05 to 4.60, which for a high perception level and indicate a strong belief among training teachers that drama activities significantly enhance their speaking skills. And this is what I said just now, the highest mean score for the item number 1 and item number 2. And to compare with the past study and the questionnaire that I adapted, the past my highest mean score is for item number 1 and item number 2. But from the original, from Vaishnavi and Ajit, they also gained the highest mean score for the items, same as me, the item number 1 and item number 2. However, the lowest mean for the past research is I can maintain a fluent conversation in English. Okay, and for me, the lowest mean is from this item. I effortlessly find the right words when expressing myself in the drama activities. And that's all for the research question number 1. And then this is the findings and discussion for the question number 2, the second part. What are teacher trainees' attitude in the use of speaking skill approaches in the drama subject? So let's take a look at this image again. The highest mean score here is for the last item, which is speaking skill approaches in drama subject, encourage me to participate in the class. And the second highest is speaking skill approaches in drama, make me feel at ease using English for oral presentation. And the third highest is speaking skills approaches in the drama subject, maximize learners' autonomy, self-esteem, and participation. And speaking skill approaches in the drama subject here shows a positive perception, with most items achieving high mean score. And the item, and for the comparison with the past research from ZNet M 2021 gains the highest mean score for the item drama activities reduce my shyness. And that is the difference. And the conclusion that I can make from the data findings that have been discussed just now, for RQ number 1, the study found that using speaking skill approaches through drama activities and role play are the 2 biggest contributors in enhancing speaking skills. with the value of mean is 4.6 for both items. And for the conclusion, RQ number 2, this study found that trainee teachers are comfortable and encouraged to participate in the drama activities with their two value of mean 4.44, 44, and also 4.42. And then this is the recommendation for future research. The first one is further research focus on more specific drama techniques, and also exploring their individual impact on speaking skills. And the second recommendation is research can focus on teacher preparedness for implementing drama-based teaching to understand challenges and inform teacher training programs. And this will be the last one, which is implication. And implication, or same as the significant, which is focused on the teacher. First, language teaching strategy. It can promote the use of speaking skill approaches in the drama as teaching strategy among the teachers. As what I just said just now. This can make the use of speaking skill approaches in the drama subject will be wider, and most of the teachers can use this kind of teaching strategy because it is very effective in enhancing students' speaking skills. And the second implication for the teachers is effective lesson. It can guide teacher in creating an effective teaching lesson for the classroom, focusing on the speaking skills. And that's all for my presentation. I will continue with the Q&A session.
Now, I would like to invite any panels for the Q&A session.
First of all, thank you very much for that presentation. Alhamdulillah, you survived so far. Okay, may I start? I do have a few questions, very interesting. When did you start? Is this the topic that you worked on from when you did your proposal? Is this the same topic when you did your proposal?
I changed my topic. I changed my title.
Oh, so when did you start working on this new topic?
When we start in our new semester.
Okay, so back in August, September. September. Okay. All right. Now, what do you mean? Can you please define to us speaking skill approaches? When you say perception, let's take a look at the first slide. Perception of the speaking skill approaches. What do you mean by that?
Okay, so what does it mean by perception on the speaking skill approaches? It means that how the training teachers or the students experience and feel when they are participating in the speaking skill approaches. Speaking skill approaches is the main topic, and the subs is drama activities like role play, improvisation, and dramatization. And how do they experience this in order that either it can enhance their speaking skills or not?
Alright, so what you mean by speaking skill approaches, it covers role play, dramatization, and so on. So all those things improve speaking skills.
Yes.
Okay, right. Next question. It's not about question, it's just me trying to understand. Next, he said about your questionnaire, your instrument. Your instrument, you mentioned here that the instrument was created.
Adapted.
Oh, you got to be careful with that word. Because at this level, you should never be creating. Alright, tell us about how did you adapt? What is the source? Where did you take the instrument from?
Okay, so the instrument, the idea is from Vaishnav. Okay. So the questionnaire I got from Vaishnavi and Ajit from 2023, and also Zinet M from 2021. And both studies have also stated their questionnaire for their research. and I use that research and change a bit words and also point to make sure it suits with my study. But overall, the findings and also the purpose of the study is most of the same.
Okay, hang on. That instrument, so meaning you adapted two instruments and you developed, you produced the adapted version.
Yes.
Okay. In the earlier, in the questionnaire by Zaina, what was the research about?
The research about is about past research. Okay. Okay. So for Zinet is focusing on the role play significantly drama-based activities such as role play, improve speaking skills among FL learners, and also building confidence and enhancing fluency.
Alright, so Zaina and Ajit, the instrument is about speaking or the activities, speaking approaches, improving speaking, right?
Yes.
Alright, but in your instrument you have something about attitude. So where is it taken from?
It's also, okay, as you can see here, building confidence. In the set of questionnaire from Zina also, it consists of 5 questions or 10 questions that states about how the drama activities boost the students' confidence and also their attitudes towards the use of speaking skill approaches. So I get it from that.
Alright, I can see building confidence and fluency, but nothing on attitude. Motivation is different from attitude. Okay, so that is a big question here. Alright, next. The instrument that you have modified,
Yes.
was it sent to PPI to be verified?
Yes.
Okay. Alright, and what was the comment?
He said, okay, here is the paper that I take a photo with of my presentation, and it says that the questions is good and need a big change for some words.
Okay, alright. Okay. Next, the finding. Do we have time? Yeah. The findings. Now, your research question number 1. Research question number 1. What is the contribution? What do you mean by contribution here?
The contribution.
Too fast.
Okay, so for the contribution here is I want to identify what is in the drama speaking skill approaches in the drama subject. How can it enhance speaking skill in the towards the training teachers, and what is the improvement? Okay, I will give you example.
No. Explain the question. I'm trying to understand contribution. What do you mean by contribution? Can you say in different words?
In different words.
Your research question.
Let's say this is the example. I can maintain a fluent conversation through the drama activities. So the contribution here is on the fluency. When the training teachers answer 5 degree scale, it means that they are very fluent and feel that their fluency have improved after participating in drama activities. And also, I also focus on the role play and drama activities as they contribute.
You see, when you have this kind of instrument, when you take out its fluency and whatnot, that sounds qualitative research. But yours is a quantitative research, right? From this research question, what is the contribution of speaking skill? I am not clear about that. Basically, what do you want to say? In another word, without looking at the instrument, what is your research question?
I want to know about what activities or what activities in the drama subject that can give contribution to improve.
Don't use the word contribution.
Can give. Can enhance speaking skill.
Okay, so you want to know which of the item?
Yes.
So your research question should be which of the items here has the highest mean? It's not about enhancing. It's not about enhancing. It's just about you have like 10 items. You want to know which item is what do you call? Let's say you want to use the word contributes the most or has the highest mean, which means that it is perceived because the title is perception, perceived, right? Which item is perceived as most positive by student. So here you are reporting on the item. Okay, so I don't know, but maybe you would like to reformulate your research question so that it is clearer. Because you want to see the item, which item has the highest mean. That's all. Okay. Okay, the next one, the next research question. Hey, research question. Okay. Now here you wanted to know that their attitude, right? Okay, this is why do you single out the item? Now because you talk about item, this item has the highest followed by another one, followed by another one, right? Why? No. Here, how many items? Because the items are not numbered. So you say item with the highest score is speaking skill approach. Encourage me to participate, right? Why do you answer this research question by highlighting the highest mean score in the item?
Okay, understand. Is because in my understanding or what I discussed, the mean score represents that how does the respondent support or agree with the statement in the questionnaire. But that is
Okay, alright, let me help you with this. Now, because you wanted to know the teacher trainer's attitude, right? Whether it is high or low, mean, right? So for this particular question, what you need to do is that you need to calculate the item mean score for all. If you have 10 items, you have to, what is the word? You have to compute. You have to compute the whole 10 items to generate one score and get the mean score. That is the mean score that you use for this particular research question, not individual item. Alright, mean score for the computed. Yes, computed item overall.
yeah, that I will teach it later.
Alright. That's all from me.
So for me, it's very simple question. But looking at your title and even at your research questions, you mentioned in the previous researches that most of them are in using the quantitative design. But why you choose quantitative?
Okay, so I prefer to use quantitative because of a few reasons. The first one, I think that use quantitative will be easier than qualitative, and also it may help me, it gives me more understanding to how to use quantitative rather than use qualitative. However, in the past research stated in this study, all the questions also separate with one item and another item, which is I can still use the questions into my questionnaire, set of questionnaire, and that's why I use quantitative.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ahmad Amirul. Next, we have Ahmad Faiz bin Abdul Aziz, who will present his research on the integration of 21st century learning skills post-CYP into English teaching among Tesl trainees and PISMP graduates. Please give a warm welcome to Ahmad Faiz.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good evening to the panels, Dr. Haja Sakia, and also Ms. Wan Khalisa, and also my supervisor, Madam Salma bin Abdul Razak, and to everyone. So, my name is Ahmad Faiz bin Abdul Aziz. I am from Tesl 3. So, the title of my study is The Integration of 21st Century Learning Skills for C1B into English Teaching among Tesl trainees at IPTM PISMP. So, what is for C1B? For C1B is first communication skills, collaboration skills, creative thinking, critical, and B is for values and ethics. Next slide. So the background of my study. Quoted from Gradol 2006, students should learn important skills called the 4C1B, as I mentioned earlier, critical thinking, creativity, communication and collaboration, and the last one is values and ethics. And Tesl training should include the 4C1B skills in their teaching to meet the modern day challenges. And Shackler 2018 said the modern day challenges come with globalization, fast-paced era of IT, and the integration of ICT. The Malaysia Education Blueprint 2013 and 2025 and also emphasized that the integration of 21st century skills into education is needed. But meanwhile, effective implementation remains challenging in ESL classroom due to gaps in teacher training and curriculum design. Next slide. So this is the problem statement. So first we have the diagram here. I will be explaining the integration of 21st century skills for C1B between pre-service teacher and in-service teacher. There is a significant difference. So in-service teacher use lots of for C1B, meanwhile pre-service teacher are struggling to use it. So, quoted from Yunus, Muslim and Ibrahim, pre-service teachers struggle to help students develop 21st century skills because there are many different skills needed. And also, in-service teacher use lots of 21st century skills because of quoted from Salahuddin and Muhammad, effective teaching strategies directly affect how engaged students are and how well they learn. Teachers should use engaging methods to make subjects easier and more interesting for students. Next slide. So this is the purpose of the study, and I put my conceptual framework here. First, understanding of 21st century learning skills. Understanding of for C1B will lead to the integration of 21st century learning skills for C1B. So the purpose of my study first is aims to investigate the integration of the 4C1B into the teaching of English for the Tesl trainees at the Institute and PGI. And next one is it aims to determine those skills that were most frequently used by Tesl trainees during their practicum phase 1. So this is my research objective and research question. My first research objective is to examine the most commonly integrated 21st century learning skills by training teachers in their English teaching. So I want to know which one of the 5 is most commonly used by the respondent. And second one, to investigate how Tesl trainees use these skills into their English teaching during their practical phase 1. And the research question is aligned with my research objective, which 21st century learning skills are most commonly used, and how do training teachers incorporate 21st century learning skills. Next slide. So, significance of the study. The significance of the study touch on 3 stakeholders, which are training teachers, lecturers, and also IPGR. So, for the training teachers, this study can act as a guiding resource, helping them deepen their understanding of integrating 21st century learning skills. And then, moving on to the lecturers, this study can assist lecturers in enhancing their instructional methods and teaching quality, thereby helping training teachers get better understanding and grasp on how to implement 21st 21st century learning skills. And for the last stakeholder, which is IPGR, it can offer insights into the quality of teacher preparation and help assess the current strategies, enabling targeted training to enhance the integration of 21st century learning skills. And then moving on to the past research, I divide my past research into two slides. The first slide is for the local one, and the other slide is for the international past research. So there are three local past research that I found. First, the integrating communication and collaboration of 21st century learning skills in narrative writing, and it used mixed method case study. The finding is integrating communication and collaboration skills through the use of an online learning platform can improve the narrative writing skills. And the respondent is students in Penang, Malaysia, by Ramasamy, Muhammad, Salmugam, and Hui from 2023. And moving on to the next local past research. The integration of 21st century learning skills, 4C only, in intervention to improve English writing skill. The respondent is 3K class, and it uses action research. The findings are integrating the 4C elements, collaboration, communication, and creativity and critical thinking into educational integration will improve the English writing skills for the 3K class students by Tan, Wan, and Muhammad 2019. And the last one for the local past research, teaching 21st century skills in a new norm among Malaysian English language teachers. And it is quantitative. And the finding is, they get the finding on how the training teacher or the teacher utilize the 4C1B in the classroom by Shafi, Majid, and Ismail. Next slide. This is the international past research I have for English. This is the title. English communication skills are they taught at school and university in Oman, and it uses qualitative design. The finding is to explore from a student's perspective how English communication skills are taught at schools and universities in Oman, and it is from Al-Mahruki 2012. And then the integrating 4C skills of 21st century into 4 language skills in EFL classes. It is qualitative. The study emphasized that the importance of integrating 4C skills into English as a foreign language class by Erdogan. And next one is 21st century skills and the 4Cs in the English language classroom by Halvorsen. How these skills can be effectively implemented in classroom to prepare students for success in a globalized society. And the last one is 21st century skills and competences for new millennium learners in OSCE countries, OECD. And it is qualitative, and the finding is most countries recognize the importance of 21st century skills but lack clear definition. Next slide. And then this is my research methodology. I use purposive sampling so that I can find the specific characteristics that I want to study from my respondent. So 57 PISMP Tesl June 2021 and July 2025. And I used 15 pilot study by Muhammad et al. It says that it is enough to have 12 to 20 pilot study. And where do I get 42 is because Brightman 2012 state that I need to subtract the pilot study from the actual sample. And then my research approach is quantitative design. My research design is questionnaires adapted from a past research, Shafi et al. 2021. And I use 4 Likert scale. The research instrument is divided into 3 sections, which are demographic, RQ1, and RQ2. So for the data analysis, I use descriptive analysis. For the research question number 1, I use frequency and percentage. For the research question number 2, I use mean, and I find the mean by using the Jamovi software. Right? And And then this is the instrument that I want to show that I adapted. This is the original from Shafi et al. And this is mine. There is some changes that I made because to suit my sample. For Shafi et al. Used two sections, demographic and RQ1, during online class COVID-19. Meanwhile, for me, I used three section questions during physical class practicum phase 1. So this is the item that I adapt. I do some changes because it doesn't meet my respondent, which is I used it during physical class and this is online class. So I asked students to post their status online. I asked students to make phone calls in English during role playing. So it's still in the class. Next slide. So my research procedure, first is creating questionnaire adapted from a previous research project titled Teaching 21st Century Skills in a New Norm Among Malaysian English Teachers by Shafi et al. Then approval of questionnaire. Questionnaire was checked by my supervisor, Madam Sanma, and also I validate my instrument by Media Muriana at Jabatan PPI. Then for the pilot study, I used 15 respondents, received the value of the reliability of 0.918. According to the usual rule of thumb, a Chromebook alpha of 0.9 and above is best, quoted from Ombrot 2004. Slide. So I used this from Aliko and Wimba mean score interpretation table to analyze my mean from my data finding. Right? So this is my research question number 1. Which 21st century are most commonly integrated by training teachers? So I want to know which one of the 5 items, which is communication, collaboration, creative thinking, critical thinking, and values, is mostly used by my respondent. So the finding is the most frequently used skill is collaboration, with 42 respondents, comes with 87.5%, indicating it as a key integration in their teaching. And then the number 2 is communication skills, and the number 3 is critical thinking skill, number 4 is creative thinking skill, and lastly is values and ethics. This outcome is expected as collaboration provides students with greater opportunities to engage actively in learning activities, quoted from Shamat and Medek. So the collaboration skills that require for the students to have a collaboration with their friends will require for the students to use communication skills. Next slide. This is my RQ research question number 2. How do training teachers incorporate? So how do they use collaboration skills? How do they use creative thinking skills and so on? So for the how do they use collaboration skills, I got the highest mean is the item A4, which is I encourage students to engage in negotiation with one another in English with guidance. So this is the highest on how the respondent use the collaboration skills during their practical phase 1. This result contrasts with finding from Shafi et al., where group work and pair work were the most common strategies in a physical classroom setting. And then moving on to the next skills, which is creative thinking skill. How do the respondent teach creative thinking skills shows in item B2, which is I encourage students to work in pairs to create short dialogues using basic English vocab and grammar. Item B2 has the highest mean score at 2.88, though with a standard deviation of 0.67. And this finding also contrasts with the study by Shafi et al., where creating and designing products was the main strategy for teaching creative thinking skill. Next slide. And then for the skills number 3, how do they use critical thinking skills? And here we have item C2. I encourage students students to apply newly acquired knowledge in real life situation, and it comes with the mean of the 3.17. This approach aligns with Bloom taxonomy, the theoretical framework that I use, in the application stage where students use their newly acquired knowledge to engage in real life language use. Number 4, how do they use communication skills? How do they teach communication skills? It comes with, the finding is from the item D5 has the highest mean score at 3.64. This emphasizes on in-class verbal interaction aligned with findings by Shafi et al. Next. And then the last one is values and ethics. How do the respondent teach values and ethics? And the item E3 has the highest mean score at 3.67. I enforce rules and regulations that emphasize values and ethics for students to follow. Item E3 is the highest mean score, suggesting that this structured approach is favored by teaching values. This is consistent with the findings by Shafi et al. Next slide. So the conclusion for this is question number 1, which is the most frequently used in the policy 1B. So it shows the most integrated skill is collaboration skills based on the data with 42 respondents with 87.5%. For my research question number 2, how do they teach that skills? For collaboration, I encourage students to engage in negotiation with one another. And creative thinking, I encourage students to work in pairs to create short dialogues using basic English vocab and grammar. For critical thinking skill, I encourage students to apply newly acquired knowledge in real life situation. And for communication skills, I ask students to talk to each other in English in the classroom. For values and ethics, I enforce rules and regulations that emphasize values and ethics for students to follow. Slide. So recommendation is employ different research methods, particularly through a qualitative design, so that we can get a deeper understanding on why that the respondent use the 4C1B in the classroom. And then also the features can also alter the independent variable. Is a valuable step for broadening the scope of the research. So according to the newest IPGM curriculum, that 6 global competency, which is communication, collaboration, creative thinking, critical thinking, and the addition is citizenship and also character. Also, we can also concentrate on a single element. We are just only focusing on values and ethics. And then we can also increase the sample size to strengthen the applicability of generalization. And then for the application, for the 3 stakeholders, for training teachers, it can act as a guiding resource, helping them deepen their understanding of C1B. And then we'll support them in selecting appropriate strategies and approaches that align with their specific classroom context and needs. For the lecturer, the findings of the research can assist lecturers in enhancing their instructional methods, thereby helping training teachers better understanding on how to implement the 4C1B in their teaching. For IPTM, offer insights into the quality of teacher preparation and help assess current strategies enabling targeted training to enhance integration of 21st century learning skills. Right? And I for the Q&A session.
Now, I would like to invite any panels for the Q&A session.
Alright, thank you, Ms. MC. Is. Right. Now let's move on to your research objectives. Your research is a quantitative research. Alright?
Yes.
Right. Why do you only run descriptive analysis?
Thank you for the question. So why do I only use descriptive analysis? So I don't use inferential and t-test because of my research objective doesn't need me to do the inferential analysis.
Yes, but why? Why is it that you stop at descriptive analysis only? Because now it's 2024.
Because I think it's beyond my.
Okay, right. Next thing is number 2, research objective number 2. Investigate how. You see, when we use the word how in research objective, it dictates, illuminates qualitative research. Whereby when I look at your analysis, you wanted to look at which of the item in each construct that sees, right? Which one is the most used, right? So I would like to suggest for you to modify, because the analysis is very good already, I would like to suggest you modify your research objective to reflect quantitative research, such as identify students' most used skills or technique in incorporating that CCCV. You get me?
Can you repeat?
This is a suggestion to transform this into quantitative research. To identify students' most used skill or technique in incorporating C1B. So later you have highlighted that in collaboration is negotiation, is it? Is it okay? Yeah. So that is the mean that you get. So we just go already, just modify this research objective and modify your research question too, so that it shows it is reflective of a quantitative research. Next is your conceptual framework, right? Which is stated as purpose. Now for conceptual framework, the arrow has got to be one way only. You don't go here and there. So your conceptual framework, you have your ID. Your ID is that for C1B, right? And that 4C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1B, the arrows should be pointing towards English subject. Because those are the skills, right? The 21st century skills. So we wanted to see this IB affecting the DB. That is how it is incorporated in English subjects. Suggestion. Miss Lisa?
Okay. So, congratulations on the presentation. It's a good one. I just want to know if, because I'm sure the instruments are adapted from previous studies. So, have you ever made comparison between your findings, the findings from previous researchers?
From Shafi Al-Kuni. Yes.
And how is it?
Because so the Shafi et al. Study was studied during online class in COVID-19. Meanwhile, for me, I did it for the respondents during physical class. So there are some differences on the findings because for the communication skills, the findings from Shafi et al. State that the highest is to make a phone call, and also to text to the teachers. So I cannot use that because I'm doing physical class. So the changes for the communication skills also different. The findings.
Okay. Alright.
Thank you, Paisi.
Thank you, Ambilan. Before we move to the next presenter, I would like to remind everyone that for the presentation, When we start the Q&A session, the bell will ring once, and after 5 minutes of the Q&A session, the bell will ring twice to signal the end of the session. Next, we have Ainul Farizatul Azhar binti Muhammad Zaid, who will present her research on the reception of Tesl training teachers on presentation activities in Tesl courses to enhance English speaking skills. Please join me in welcoming Ainul.
Assalamualaikum and a very good evening to everyone. And I think to our panel today, Dr. Sakia and also Ms. Misa. Okay, so let me introduce myself first. My name is Ainul Farizatul Azhar binti Muhammad Zaid, and I am from Tesl 3. So my supervisor is Madam Suhana binti Ahmad, and today I will present my research entitled The Perception of Tesl Training Teachers on Presentation Activities in Tesl courses to enhance English speaking skills. So before I go further, I would like to highlight a few key points from my title. The first one will be the perception. In my research, perception focused on how Tesl training teachers perceive the presentation activities, whether it is beneficial or not. The second one will be the Tesl training teachers. It only focus on the Tesl training teachers in IPGKRI, focuses on the cohort August 21-25 intake. And the next one will be presentation activities. Presentation activities in my research highlights on any oral activities that has been through in Tesl courses, for example, drama, storytelling, role-playing, and etc. Okay, so now we move on to the next slide. Okay, my background of the study will revolve around these three. The first one will be the presentation activities. According to Anderson 2019, presentation activities is a structured method that of preparing and delivering oral presentations in order to develop communication skills and speaking skills. And next, we move on into the speaking skills. Why I choose speaking skills? Because speaking skills is not like other skills. For example, reading and writing. It involves the students to come up with their own idea and or in simple terms, spontaneous speech, according to Rizki and Delmonte 2024. And the last one will be the affective factors. According to Kirtiga and Christopher in 2022, they define affective factors as three elements, which are motivation, confidence, and also anxiety. Next slide. Okay, so we move on to the statement of the problem. The first one, according to Rizki and Haryanto in 2024, in their research, there is a variety of opinions regarding the beneficial of presentation activities to enhance language proficiency. So, some students say it is beneficial and some have the opposite thoughts. So, what impact that it brings if I do not doing this research? The students will not have the enough awareness how beneficial presentation activities towards and acts as a practice. Then the students will not have the enough awareness towards how beneficial presentation activities to act as a platform for us to practice English speaking skills. And when this happens, then the consequences is students or trained teachers will lack of speaking skills. Okay, the next one will be Wan and Zhang in 2020. It also stated that emotional factors like motivation, self-esteem, anxiety significantly impact language learning. Next slide. So this is my research objective. It aims to investigate the perception of Tesl trained teachers on presentation activities in Tesl courses to enhance English speaking skills. And the second one will be, I want to identify what is the highest effective factor of speaking skills that affect presentation activities in Tesl courses to enhance English speaking skills. Next slide. Okay, this is my research questions, same as the objective, but in the form of questions. The first one will be, what is the perception of Tesl training teachers on presentation activities in Tesl courses to enhance English speaking skills? And the second one will be, what is the highest effective factor of speaking skills that affect presentation activities in Tesl courses to enhance English speaking skills? Okay, next slide. So the significance of my research divided into two. The first one will be the Tesl training teachers. It will encourage more active participation in presentation activities. And the second one will be for the IPG Tesl lecturers. It provides insight into training teachers' needs. Based on Chen, it says that so that they will this research will help the teachers to meet the needs of the training teachers. Okay, next slide. So this is my conceptual framework. These three are the IB, independent variables, and the right side is my DV, dependent variables. Next slide. So these are my related past researches. Okay, the first one will be the Rizky and Haryanto in 2024. It indicates that there is a variety of perception towards how beneficial presentation activities. And move on the second one by Akanda et al. In 2022. It stated that oral presentation play a constructive role in improving listening speaking skills. However, effective factors such as motivation and anxiety are also fear involved to impede the learning language acquisition. Okay. The last one will be the Kurtiga and Christopher in 2022. They says that participants of English speaking skills were significantly influenced by affective factors. Next slide. So this is my research design. I chose quantitative approach and survey. And my respondent will be taken from batch August 2021, 2025 intake, and it involved three classes. Tesl 1, Tesl 2, Tesl 3, and the sample I follow the Tracy and Morgan, which says that between 55 until 60, might is 52, so mine is 58, so it near to 60, and my sample will be 52 according to the Tracy and Morgan. Next slide. Okay, my research instrument consists of 23 items. It has 4 constructs. The first one will be benefits of using presentation activities to enhance English speaking skills. And section C will focus on motivation, perception on motivation that affect presentation activities to enhance English speaking skills. And section D will be focused on anxiety, and the last part will be focused on the confidence. Next slide. Okay, the pilot study. I distribute the questionnaire to IPGM campus Kota Baru, and I got 10 respondents. And also I distribute to IPGM campus Sultan Mizan, Terengganu, and I got 16 respondents. And according to Luis et al. In 2021, there is no universal applicable sample size of 4 pilot studies. And I checked the reliability of my questionnaire through Jomobi, and I got 0.91. And according to Santos 2020, it says that between 0.7 until 0.9, the combat alpha is accepted. Okay, next. Okay, and this is my data collection procedures. It started with obtaining validation for the instrument from JBI. Next one, we move on. I administered the pilot study, and I measured the reliability through the Jamobi, and I conducted the data collection, the real survey, and I waited for the response from the division. Next slide. Okay, so we move on to the data analysis. I have 2. The first one will be the descriptive, where I use the mean interpretation. And the second one is inferential, which is multiple regression, using Jamovi 2.6.2. Next. Okay, on data findings research question 1, I found that the overall mean for the for the construct that answer question 1 is very high according to Zaki and Ahmad. It stated that between 4.30 until 5.00, it is called under category very high. And we move on to the maximum items, which I got from the B3 question. It says that presentation, speaking activities, including presentation tasks, help students to learn in an active way. And the minimum, okay, this is quite interesting because I don't expect this funding, whereby I got, Tesl training teachers, August 2021 and 2025 intake agree that presentation activities reduce students' anxiety in speaking skills. However, it is the lowest. So they perceive that presentation activities do not reduce students' anxiety in speaking English. So this is aligned with a study by Asnur in 2013. She said that oral-oriented activities can increase foreign language anxiety. So this is it. Okay, next one. Okay, we will move on to the research question 1, the data findings. Okay, I use multiple regression and I look at the p-value and also the standard estimate, or we can call it as beta value. Okay, from here you can see that, okay, according to, I read this first now. Confidence is the highest affected factor that affect presentation activities. So this is what I found. And because according to Andre, it has the lowest p-value. Okay, Andre 2019 said the lowest p-value lower than 0.05 indicates that there is a significant effect towards the DV. And from here we can see confidence has the lowest p-value, so it has the most significant effect towards the dependent variables. Okay, next one we go to the standard estimate value, which is the beta. As you can see, it has the highest beta value, which indicates, according to Ziegleri, it says that the highest beta value, then the highest beta value, then it contribute to the most prediction, or it has the strongest influence towards the DV. So my findings will be confidence is the highest affected factor that can affect presentation activities. So next one. Okay, discussions for research question 1. That's training teachers, August 21-25 intake agree that presentation activities are beneficial, and it aligns with the study by Ati and Parmawati in 2022 and also Nick Day et al. 2024. They perceive that presentation activities are effective in helping them assess and improve their speaking skills. And the second one, I also found that presentation activities do not reduce anxiety in speaking skills. And it aligns with ASNO 2013. It says that oral-oriented classroom activities significantly heighten foreign language anxiety. Next one. Discussions on research question 2. I found that confidence is the highest affected factors of speaking skills that can affect presentation activities to enhance English speaking skills. And it aligns with Osman et al. 2020, which we identified that lack of confidence is the highest obstacle for students to develop their speaking skills. Next slide. Okay, the conclusions. Just like the previous slide, but according to the research question, the first one will be the Tesl training teachers perceive presentation as very beneficial and having a positive impact towards them. And the second one will be confidence emerged as the most significant affecting factor that influence training teachers' performance in presentation activities. I have two. The first one will be for future researchers, they can use different intakes. Different intakes, for example, not only 2021, 2025, but they can also take from 2036, 2022, they say, and they can compare between the youngest batch and the the oldest batch. So you can see the difference between the difference of the result between these two batches. And also different majors. You can also take from, you can compare like major PM or sejarah, history, PJ, and also Tesl. I not Tesl, but I already did Tesl. Okay, the second one will be the research design. I'm doing the quantitative, and I would like to suggest for them to use qualitative or mixed method, because as qualitative, it has interview, and I believe in interviews there will be more information that can collect from the interviewers. Okay, next slide. Implications. Okay, I have two also for the taciturn teachers. It can actively engage in activities designed to enhance their speaking skills. Because when the taciturn teachers are aware how important presentation activities in classroom, so they will become more engaged in presentation activities that happens in the classroom. For example, drama, storytelling, and everything. They will see that as a chance, an opportunity for them to practice their speaking skills. And the second one will be the active task lecturers. It can help designing and implementing teaching strategies that foster a supportive environment for confidence building. Because when we already identified that confidence is the most effective factor that can affect presentation activities, so the lecturers can create more activities that can help on confidence building. Next one. Okay, that's all. Thank you so much for your attention.
Now, I would like to invite any panel for the Q&A session.
Alright, thank you. I know you have presented well. Right. This is on what do you call teachers? Perception of teacher trainees. That's on teacher training. That's on training just on presentation. Okay. All right. Now, when you did this research, let's take a look at your research objective. You wanted to look at the perception of teacher trainees, right? How? I know that you have explained, but please tell me and the rest. How do you? How do you answer this research question number one? To investigate the perception.
We go to the research instrument. Alright. So I answer for the research question number one. From the section B, benefits of presentation activities. Because according to Tarikh et al. 2018, he says that benefits is a part of the perception because it forms in your head. Okay. So I take the section B only to answer the research question one.
How many items are there in section B?
8.
8 items. So from that 8 items, you are able to answer research question one, whether the perception is positive or negative. Alright, can we take a look at your analysis for research question number one? Alright, right, so this is B1 up to B7.
Oh, it should be another one. I cloaked.
You crop it. Okay, now, you see, I have to correct this. When you talk about perception are a number of items, a number of things that make up perception. But what you report here, you report item B3, item B6. The analysis, The analysis is not right. You are not trying to identify which item has the highest mean. You intend to find out the perception. And this perception is made up by 8 items. So what you should do is that you should total up, you should key in all this score, the responses for B1 up to B8, and it will generate one score. That score will present you with a mean. That mean will indicate whether the perception is high or low based on whoever just now.
Actually, Doctor, this is the overall mean for the section list.
For the 8 items.
Yes.
Okay, so for one, then why do you have to highlight that? B3, B6.
Because I want to see like which is the what are the findings that I can conclude from this.
But that's not a research question, right?
Yes.
Okay, it's very confusing. So take out, I mean, in the future research, right? Because it was highlighted that was not explained that the items were computed. Okay, solve the problem. Okay, then 1, 2. Research question number 2. Okay. Research question number 2. You wanted to find out the highest effective factor. How many effective factors? 3, right? You have 3. Now, why did you use multiple regression?
Okay. Multiple regression is multiple regression. It allows me to find the value of dependent variable used based on multiple independent variables. So in my research, I have 3 independent variables: motivation, anxiety, and also confidence. So I want to use the test, but the test only allows me to have 2 independent variables, and it needs me and it only allow me to know the significance between 2 groups. Meanwhile, I only have 1 group, and I just exclude that the idea of the test, and then I move on to ANOVA. ANOVA also is not applied to my research because ANOVA, it requires me to have multiple groups, like 2 or more. But mine only one batch, like Tesl 21 to 5 intake. So I cannot use it. And then I move on to multiple regression.
Alright. Honestly, it is a wrong analysis. It's a wrong tool to use. Multiple regression, that when we talk about statistics, there are levels: descriptive and inferential. In inferential, the lowest one is t-test. T-test is when you wanted to compare the mean of 2 groups. That's t-test. But now, you're not doing that, but you're using multiple. Multiple regression is the 3rd level. 2nd level is relationship, that is
Pearson correlation.
Pearson correlation. But you are not doing relationship, right? Whereby multiple regression talks about 3 things, but to find out which of these 3 has the strongest relationship to something. That you don't have. You have 3 only, but you are not looking at the relationship between, for example, you talk about pay, you talk about career, you talk about look. Which of these 3 independent variable has the strongest relationship to you choosing a partner? So the second part is missing from your research. You only have 3 things, and you jump into multiple regression. I'm sorry, you have to really look at your analysis. Yeah? It's not the right one. The right thing for you to use here, because you wanted to see the highest effective factor, right? For you to use, just to use descriptive analysis. Run mean for motivation, mean for anxiety, mean for confidence. Which one has the highest mean? That is the highest
effective.
Highest effective filter. Okay? Alright, so just a bit of modification. Alright? And when you run that analysis, probably if the result is the same, then you don't have to change what for subsequent chapters, sections. If the result is different, then you have to change your findings and discussion and mitigation. Yeah? Alright. Ms. Misa.
Okay. So those are the corrections that you need to do.
Yes.
Okay. On the analysis of your findings. But what do you think is the strongest part of your research? What is the strongest part?
The strongest part of my research, I would say the data analysis. Because at there we have to discuss, we have to conclude everything that. So I have to do it. It's okay.
It's a very
It's okay. We learn.
Alright.
That's all.
Yeah, that's all. You want more?
Thank you, Agnes, for your presentation. Lastly, we have Darshini Anakumbanasaran, who will present her research on the impact of native language support on intrinsic motivation in English
Hang on, yeah?
learning
Hang on.
among
Hang on.
Lastly, we have Darshini Anakumbanasaran, who will present her research on the impact of native language support on intrinsic motivation in English learning among primary Malaysian students. Let's give a warm welcome to Darshini.
Okay, so good evening to Dr. Sa and also Ms. Nisa, as well as my fellow friends here. I'm sorry for my voice today. So today I will be presenting about my research entitled The Impact of Native Language Support on Intrinsic Motivation in English Learning Among Primary Malaysian Pupils. So let me introduce myself again. I am Darshini Anakumbanasaran from Tesl. And for this research, Ms. Nurul Atika, who is also known as Ms. Etty, is my supervisor. Next slide. So let's dive into the background of the study. The first one, for this study, we have to understand about the native language support, which includes bilingual instruction and translation, as per said by Yo and Wong in the year 2023. Next is about intrinsic motivation, which is important for the pupil's success in English learning in schools. So this was said by Johnson and Trent in the year 2022. And the third one is intrinsically motivated pupils, the combination of it. It will help the pupils to engage and achieve more and greater success in language learning, which was said by Lee and Park in the year 2024. Next slide. So let's look at the problem statement. I have two here. The first one is SK pupils show low intrinsic motivation for learning English, and this was found out by Rahman and Ali in the year 2022. And another one is the pupils struggle to achieve the desired levels of English proficiency, which was found out by Karim and all in their research in the year 2021. Next slide. So, the purpose of my research is to investigate the impact of native language support on intrinsic motivation in English learning among primary Malaysian pupils. So, it is to find out whether it is giving the impact or it is not giving impact for the pupils to learn English with the help and with the support of native language. So, I have two research objectives that I like to share. The first one is to measure the level of intrinsic motivation in English learning among primary Malaysian pupils. So through my research, I will get to find whether the level is high, moderate, or it's low. The next one is to find out and to examine the relationship between native language support and intrinsic motivation in English learning among primary Malaysian pupils. Next slide. So the research questions, they are related with the objectives that I've shared before, which is to find out what is the current level of the pupils' intrinsic motivation in learning English, and also to find out what is the relationship between native language support and intrinsic motivation in English learning among primary Malaysian pupils. Next slide. So, okay, now we will look at the research significance. There are three things. The first one is for me to provide better understanding regarding the topic, both about intrinsic motivation and also the implementation of native language support. And the second one is to help teachers to create focused strategies that address their pupils' language needs. And the third one is for me to contribute to multilingual and multicultural education, as we are living in multiracial country. So, for past researchers, I'd like to highlight two from the original 10 that I have in my study. So, the first one is about the first language, the usage of first language. According to a study by Richer in the year 2022, the use of first language, which is Korean, was used for them to teach pupils in Korea to learn English as second language. So there was the usage of our first language, which is Korean, because the study was done in Korea. And now let's look at the impact on intrinsic motivation. In the context of Chinese-speaking pupils, which was done in China, when they learn English, they feel highly motivated. And this was stated by Martinez and Lopez in the year 2023 through their research. Next slide. So my research design is quantitative, and I did survey by passing out questionnaires. And my population and sample, as you can see from here, I have 49 respondents, and I extracted 44 according to the table that I used. And my respondents were year 4 pupils from SK Bukit Bukit, where I did my first practical. Next slide. So these are my research instruments. I have 3 sections divided in my research instrument, where the section A is about personal details. I asked about the student's name and also the pupil's class. For section B, it is regarding intrinsic motivation in English learning, which is related to my first research objective. And in section C, it is regarding the native language usage in English learning, which is related to my second research objective. So as you can see in my research instruments, the words used are very simple and the quantity of it is very less because of my respondents, they are year 4 pupils, and because I know their English language proficiency. So I have adapted to their levels because I thought this is before. Next slide. So my research procedures. First, I identified the research problem and then find the purpose for this research, get my items checked, and then I went on with the data collection. I analyzed and did the data interpretation before I finished my research report. Next slide. So for my data collection procedure, first I did my pilot study, and when I did my pilot study, I got a value of 0.895 for my Cronbach alpha, and it is considered all the items that are very reliable because the score is higher and it is above than 0.7, as per said by Kelsey et al. In the year 2023, items are considered reliable when the scores are higher than 0.7. So after that, as the items are considered reliable, then I distributed the questionnaire to the pupils. Next slide. So for my data analysis procedure, I used SPSS version 22.0. I did descriptive analysis and also inferential analysis. So for descriptive analysis, I did for my research objective 1 and also 2. For the inferential analysis, I did for RO2. This one, for descriptive analysis, I did research objective 2 as well because it was useful for me when I did my inferential analysis. Next slide. So the theory that I use is by Lacey and Ryan in the year 1985, which is self-determination theory. So in this self-determination theory, which is also known as SDT, we have three main things here. The first one is autonomy, where the pupils and the individuals will experience to control and to learn according to their own choice. The second one is competence, where it can help to build confidence and mastery between the students when they're learning. And the third one is relatedness, which it helps to create meaningful connection for the pupils because they have the sense of belonging when they are learning something. So in this context, for this research, they'll have a sense of belonging when they're using their native language to help them to learn English. Next slide. So for my main interpretation table, I've taken from Zaki and Ahmad in the year 2017. So the mean score would be very high if it's 4.3 and above, and the others as well. Next slide. For correlation interpretation table, because I have correlation as well, by Zamani et al. In the year 2022, items and the research will be considered as the very high correlation if the score is 0.8 until 1.0. Next slide. So here it comes, the important one. My data findings for my research question 1, the total mean that I got from the first part of it is 4.80, which means that my hypothesis is accepted, that primary Malaysian pupils actually exhibit high level of intrinsic motivation in English learning. So in this, I'd like to highlight that there are two highest mean and also two lowest mean. One is in the middle. So for the highest mean, it shows that the pupils think that learning English is important for their future, and they feel good when they can speak English with their friends. And it was the highest mean with the score 4.82. The lowest mean was 4.77, item B2, where the pupils try their best when they are learning English and they put effort into learning English. Even though this is the lowest mean, but we can still consider that the score is high because according to the table that I've shown before, it shows that when the item is more than 4.3, it is considered as very high. Next slide. So I will discuss about the first data first, So from here, we can see that when the pupils think that learning English is important for their future, it is related to what has been found out by Jai Krishnan and Ismail in the year 2021, where they say learning English is important for the next generation. And also, the pupils also agree, this was the middle one, the value, that they enjoy learning English because it's fun. So, according to Nama Zialdos et al. In the year 2024, pupils would stay engaged when they enjoy the learning process. So, it is tally with what I found. And the last one is the pupils put effort into learning English, which was the lowest mean. According to Elsa et al. In the year 2021, that she said that intrinsic motivation actually leads to higher levels of effort in language tasks. So next slide. Okay, this is for my data finding for my research question 2, where I did the Pearson test and then I got Pearson significant value of 0.635. And again, as I mentioned just now in the table that I showed earlier, according to Zamani et al. In the year 2020, it is considered as high correlation because the value is above 0.6 to 0.79. So I got 0.635, which is in between that range. It shows that it gives a high level of impact, and my hypothesis is accepted, where there is a positive relationship between native language support and intrinsic motivation in English learning among primary Malaysian pupils. Next slide. So my discussion regarding that research question 2 would be, pupils are motivated when they learn English content in their native language. And this was also stated through a research by Azimova and Sohit Jalov in the year 2023. And this actually creates a more welcoming and encouraging environment for pupils when they learn English as their second language. So this can also be cited by Ali in the year 2018. So my conclusion would be very simple. For my research objective 1, primary Malaysian pupils exhibit high level of intrinsic motivation in English learning. And for the second one is there is a positive relationship between native language support and intrinsic motivation in English learning among primary Malaysian pupils. Next slide. So my recommendation for future researchers, if they would like to continue regarding this topic, is the first one to cover diverse locations. For example, can do this research both in rural and also urban areas to see the differences. And then they can compare across different levels within primary school pupils. Like you have heard before what I said, I did only for year 4 pupils. So maybe the next researchers, they can compare between the lower primary students, primary pupils, and also the upper primary pupils. And the third one is compare the impact of different native languages. As my respondents are from SK and they only use Bahasa Melayu as their native language, so this research is limited only for the native language, Bahasa Melayu. Maybe the next researchers, they can cover different native languages as we have vernacular schools. They can go to SJKT and also SJKC. Next slide. So what are the implications of this research? The first one is for the primary Malaysian pupils themselves, where they can foster a sense of comfort when they are learning English as second language with the help of their native language. And the second one is for English teachers themselves, where English teachers maybe they can foster like peer interaction in bilingual to help the students to learn better. And also the third one is curriculum developers and policy makers. This is a very important one because only curriculum developers and policy makers can make clear guidelines on how and when can native language be used when teachers are teaching English. Because whatever it is, we still have to use English at most of the times in the classroom. So I think that's all from me. Next slide. Thank you.
Now, I would like to invite any panel for the Q&A session.
Alright, Yash. Congratulations, you have completed your research. Like that's also right. Okay. This research is on, you are looking at the relationship between native language support. Now you wrote here impact.
Yes.
Okay, I'll come to that later. Now let's take a look at your research design. Alright. Now this is a quantitative research, quantitative approach. The design is survey. Now where did you get instrument for this research?
Okay, for the questionnaires, I adapted from the past researches that I've told earlier, which was from the Korean study and also from the Chinese study. But I had to make it with simpler words because of my respondents.
Alright, this is research ethics. When you take somebody's work, you have to acknowledge. Because there's nothing about where is it taken from. I mean, in terms of instrument, right? So you have to mention it was taken from this research, acknowledge. Okay. Now, and the instrument being modified.
Yes.
Right? And as you can see here, the instrument is English. Was it presented to students in English?
Yes.
Alright. How did the student take it?
The students, they can actually understand it because the words used here are simple. It's just that it was quite hard to explain, when they are feeling curious, when they are answering this. So it was hard a bit to explain about native language and also intrinsic motivation. But what I told them at that time was that just focus on the items and they could actually understand the items. But to make them understand clearly, before I allow them to answer the questions, I explain to them in Malay language for them to have a better understanding.
Alright, this is pretty tricky here because when you talk about giving instrument to primary school students, you want to have or to gather or to collect data that is unbiased, the data that is solid. So the use of bahasa, the use of English here, I might feel that it might affect the interpretation, students' interpretation, like you said just now. Even though you have explained at the beginning of the session, you know, knowing young kids, they forget. So in the future research, when it is involving young kids, even though it is for English, the language, the instruction that, the instrument should be written in bahasa. Because you cannot be sure unless you're conducting it in a school like convent, whereby you know they have the proficiency to handle the language or these items. Okay? 1. 2, you have 49 respondents and you have chosen 44.
Yes.
How? Or how did you choose that 44?
Because, next slide. Next slide.
Earlier slides.
Earlier. Okay. So from 49 respondents, I was told to take 5 for pilot study, which I took randomly from 3 different classes. And then the balance 44 were the respondents for the real study.
Alright. Is 5 respondent for pilot sufficient?
As I discussed with my supervisor, it was sufficient.
Now, you see, when it comes to research, you have to have somebody's name, a scholar's name, saying that, for example, John 2016 mentioned that you can have 5. Quoting my name or your supervisor's name has no credibility here. You have to have a scholar's name. So you have to find out data and put in your thesis who says that it is okay for you to have that small number of pilot sample. Alright. Okay. Next. You are conducting a relationship, right?
Yes.
Research finding 2. The R value is 0.6, which is, according to Zamani, it is high correlationship.
Yes.
Alright. So, I repeat, this is Pearson correlation. You are doing relationship. The R value is high, 0.635.
Yes.
Right? And because this is a relation, you're doing a relationship, the title of your research cannot be impact. Impact is multiple regression. So you have to change the word. The relationship between native speakers, blah blah blah, on the relationship between native language support and intrinsic motivation. So reword to reflect this relationship. Hence, your research question number 2 also needs to be modified. It is not what is. For quantitative, for inferential, it should be is there and relationship. Right? Modify that. That would be all from me, Ms. Lisa.
First of all, orientation dash. Okay. Let's look at your topic again. I think the topic is rather classic. So, what makes you choose this topic, the impact on native language and the intrinsic motivation? How did you choose that?
Okay, so what made me choose this topic is because it was the topic that I chose from my proposal. And since that time, I chose this topic because I feel like what I have learned in IPG is that not to use any native language when we are teaching the pupils at school. But when I went for my practical, and the reality was, I tried only for 2 days, but I had to use, and there were many words coming out from my mouth. Because I find that that is the only way that I had at that time for me to teach the pupils. So when I came back here, and even during my RPP, I stated about that issue. And what the lecturers told me was that you can use, but make sure there is a limit on how do you use it. So that is why I want to find out whether there's actually using native language helps to increase the intrinsic motivation for the pupils so that they will be happy and they want to learn English. And at the same time, as I highlighted um, for my last slide, for the implications, for the implications, I do realize that there is a limit of how we should use, and that is why I highlighted on curriculum developers and policy makers, so that they can provide a guideline on what kind of situation and when can we use native language.
Alright, and another question, what do you think is what do you think are the primary limitations while carrying out this research?
My limitations was just like I said before, because it was done only in SK and only year 4 pupils. So I feel like it would be better if I can get data from pupils from lower primary and also upper primary. At the same time, I would like to differentiate how does people from SJKT and SJKC would perceive about using native language when they're learning English as their second language.
Thank you, Darshini, for your presentation. Now, we will give some time to the panelists to choose the best presenter of the day.
Alright.
Thank you to all our presenters in Tesl Room 1. Before concluding today's presentation session, the English department has graciously prepared an award for the best presenter. At this time, we respectfully invite Dr. Haja Sekia binti Ibrahim, accompanied by Miss Pendidikan binti Ibrahim, to present this award winner. For today, it is my honor to invite Darshini Anak
This is so big. Well done. Well done. Congratulations, everyone.
We extend our sincere gratitude to Dr. Haja Sekia Ibrahim and Miss Conferenisa Ibrahim and all the presenters for their contribution to this organization. This brings us to the end of our seminar session for today and for the 2024 PISMP Tesl Education Research Seminar. Thank you to all of our presenters for their hard work, dedication, and insightful research presentation. We hope that today's presentation have inspired new ideas and sparked interest in furthering educational research. I also want to apologize for the inconvenience that caused by me during the session. Thank you all once again and have a wonderful day ahead.